So today we're going to show you how to quickly make reusable styles in our Microsoft Word documents. Now, this is something that a lot of us think about when we're creating briefs and particular filings with the courts, but most of us just don't take the time to save these styles that we've created. And that slows us down later as we create more of these. Or we don't create these styles in the first place, and we opt instead for just formatting the portions of the documents as we go by making something bold or all caps or something like that. So we lose a lot of time in the formatting process of our briefs, our client letters, and other documents that we want to look in a specific way every time. So I'm going to go through and just kind of make a dummy document here based on just very quick brief settings that I would probably do. But you can do this as you go through your brief, as you edit it and do everything if you'd like. So first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to get started with just a dummy style here. So now we can change this style as we go. I'm going to start with heading for the first one. That's our second heading. That's our third tier. And that's our fourth tier. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put in some dummy information, dummy copy. I'm just going to use the Lorem Ipsum for this, just because I don't really want to write a brief right now. And I don't think you want to see me write a brief. So here's all the levels that we're going to want. And I'm going to take these, I'm going to make that into heading 1, make this information heading 2, make heading 3, and then I'm going to set that as heading 4. And so going forward in our documents, anytime I set something as heading 4, heading 3, heading 2, heading 1, it's going to match what these are. And so that's fine and dandy, but now we want to make them into something that we want them to look like. So I'm going to take heading 1, and I'm going to change it to something that I actually want it to be as we go here. So we're going to go to Century font, which is what I use typically in my documents because it'll work for everything all the way up to the Supreme Court generally. We're going to make it black, and then we're going to take it, we're going to make it all caps. I'm going to take it to the center, and then we'll bold it. All right, so that looks good. Heading 2, we're also going to take to Century 12. We're going to make it black. We're going to make it bold, and then I'm going to take this one to small caps. Now, people might argue with me about the all caps and small caps, but these are my headings right now, and I'm going to do them how I want. So then for heading 3, I'm likely going to do Century again. I'm going to take it to 12, and you could do 11 if you want, most likely, but we're going to take it to 12, and then we're going to do this one simply as bold. Now we do the same type of thing for heading 4, change it to what we want it to look like. We're going to do this one as italic. So there's my headings that I want. And then just to be a little bit extra for us being attorneys, let's do a citation. And so me, I'm in Tennessee, and so I do Tennessee Rules of Procedure a lot of times. But those obviously have to look a little bit different. So now that I've created this, and this is how fast this goes, now that I've created this, I go through and I change these by right-clicking on that, and then I do Update Heading 1 to match section, and so it changes it right there. And I go in, and I right-click on that, and I update Heading 2. I want to get my cursor to Heading 3, right-click on Heading 3, update Heading 3 again, and do the same thing for heading 4. Now what I want to do, actually this is going to be heading 4. Now I want to get into one of these normal ones, and I'm going to turn that into something that I want it to look like. And normal is just our regular document. So turn this into what I want it to be for the regular document. And go on that update normal to match the selection. Now, there's something a little bit special about normal a lot of times, because you want it to be a little bit different. So I'm going to take that to 1.5 line spacing, and then I'm going to update that to match the normal selection. And what that does is that does that for all of my normal stuff. And so again, what I did was I changed it, and then I went and right-clicked on the key here, and then updated it to match what my selection is. And so that means that after you've typed these things, after you've done them, you could actually go back in the document and change these. Now, the key is that we want to be using these styles here. So as we use those styles, they can kind of change in the document as we want them. So back to the citation. So I'm going to grab this citation, and I'll make it look like I want it to look. So I'm going to do small caps and bold. Let's just say that that's how I want to do this citation style. Okay. So I've got that specifically set out. This is how I want to do all my sites as I go. So what I do is I have to create a new style, because I don't have, as you can see, I don't have a citation style in here. So open that up. And just to show you what I did was I hit this little, what looks like a downward facing play button. So I open that whole thing up, and I do create a style. So it gives me the ability to name this style here, and then it's got an example of what my style is going to be. And if I hadn't already made it into something I want it to look like, I can go in and I can modify that style. And I could deal with the paragraph, I could deal with the font, I could deal with tabs, border, just many things right there. But that's not what I need to do right now. So I'm going to name this citation. We've got this 12th century and bold. So I've actually already named something citation. So we're going to do citation 2. And so I got that. And just to show you, I had already created a citation in here somewhere. So we've got citation 2 there. And as I go through, I could actually modify this and make it different if I wanted to. Okay, so now we've got all of our styles as we want them. And I want to be able to use this in documents later. Now that's the key to this whole thing, because if I had to go through and do this exact same way every time, well, we wouldn't really be saving much time. So where we keep these styles is actually in the design right here. So we go up to the design tab, and these are all the styles that I have, and you have most of these most likely. And right now I'm on this style, basic. But what I want to do is I want to save a new style. So come in here to the downward play button again. And then I want to save as a new style set. So you can see I've got a couple style sets here. I've got my own brief style set. But let's save this as brief example style set. And it's going to save into my QuickStyles. It's just going to automatically do that. And that's going to be local. So it's not going to necessarily work with shared drives right now, but we'll show you how to do that a little bit later. So we're going to save this as brief example. Okay, and so now, as I hover over some of these, you can see that's my style right there, brief example. If I want to change it to basic elegant, if I want to change it to rubato, if I want to change it to go, I can just hover over there, and you can see how these headings change and how the other things change. But what these actually are, what styles they are, don't change. So I can go in and change this right back to brief example, and it goes back to it. Now, if I open up a new document, and I go to design, I've got brief example right there again. And let me show you right now. We've got headings and subtitles and everything back to where we started. But I go to design, I click on brief example, and now we've got all these back. So that's the basic way to take a document that you've created and set up your headings, change your headings, and make it into something that is saved, that is a template, that is what we call QuickStyles. So I hope this helps a little bit, and I certainly hope that this saves you a little bit of time.